Alrighty, so we're going to be working on the VL today, doing the rear diff bushes. This was meant to get completely finished this weekend, so I had that booked in to do, but I'm still waiting on the rear adjustable trailing arms to rock up. So they've been powder coated, they've been made, they've been powder coated, but we're just going to get them here. So I'm probably not going to see them till Monday, which means that I'll be doing it next weekend, but I'm going to get these rear diff bushes done anyway, just because I do have some time that I put aside for this car, so I might as well get that done. See if it needs any other little things dialed in. We have a VE that I did a coilover adjustment on a few weeks ago, that's coming in. And then I had another car booked in to do coilovers and brakes on, but he cancelled on me, so yeah, I've sort of freed up my weekend. But what I'm going to do is obviously not waste time, because we don't like to do that. With everything that's going on and hurting myself, I've realised that I'm not invincible, but I don't know, actually know if I've ever mentioned that I hurt myself. So a few weeks ago I fell off a ladder and I've torn a muscle in my arm, which is why I've started reducing down the work that I'm taking on, because I'm trying to let my body rest up a bit on top of everything else that's been going on lately. But it's really made me realise that I'm not invincible. I'm actually going to be pulling out mostly of the factory next door. I'm going to still lease the car parks, because having control of that car park makes total sense to me. But I've got another mate that's going to jump in with my other buddy that's in that shed, I think, and they'll take over that hopefully. If I have to, I'll stay in there a little bit, but I kind of don't really need it anymore. Now that I have my shed at home, I don't really need that shed anymore, so it was more just a luxury. So what I'm going to do is the VL is going to get towed back to my warehouse at home. The budget build that's currently in there will get in here, and then hopefully once this car's done, that VE that's there next door, I'm actually going to hit him up and see whether he'll just sell me the whole car, but otherwise I've got to bring that in here and pull the motor out for him so he can have the engine back. That's kind of what's going on at the moment, and I just figured, like, even with the VL back at home, like, I've had it here like for a couple of years now, I guess, and I've only worked on it a couple times. I'm better off to get it towed back here each time I want to work on it, and then that way it's at least not costing me thousands of dollars just to store it next door when I'm not working on it. Because I was talking to one of my buddies last night, and I'm like, I'm literally paying thousands of dollars a month to store my cars, not to work on them, which makes no sense. So yeah, I'm going to pull out of that, take the cars home where it doesn't cost me anything to have it, and yeah, so that's what we're going to be doing. So this weekend was meant to be a pretty exciting vlog. I think I'll still make it an exciting vlog because I'm good at doing that. I think we'll do a bit of work on this VL. We've got that VE coming in. I'm sure there'll be something else that'll pop up. I got the budget build. I might jump on that and do a little bit more work, because I really want to get that done and back home now as well. But again, with everything being so tight at the moment, I'm actually nearly half tempted just to not get that on the road right just yet. So I'm sort of toying with the idea just to make it look cool for now and tuck it back at home. So I've got the 22s in my showroom that have been sitting there for ages. I might grab some springs, throw them in it, slam it down, and then just send that home. But it's got a really bad oil leak underneath it, so I got to get that fixed because I don't want it pissing out oil all over my shed. Got to do the transmission. I'll show you guys that when I bring it in here, but it's got a transmission leak out of like the linkage, and I've actually never done one. I don't know how the seal comes out. I'm just waiting for a rep to come in. I've got a meeting with a supplier about airbag fittings, so as soon as he gets here, I'll get through that meeting and then we'll jump onto the VL. So I've been talking about this tool to do this VL with. I'm going to be embarrassed if it's really shit, because like I said, I haven't used this in a long time. So let's jump upstairs, and hopefully I've still got, it was in like a white box from what I remember. Let's go see if we can find it. Looks like I've been talking shit about this tool. I don't know what I've done with it. Yeah, but I definitely used to be in a white box, I swear, in that cabinet. I'm thinking maybe over the years I've ended up going, oh, I need that, whatever. I think it was like all thread and some washers and tube and whatnot in there, and maybe I've just thought of, you know, oh, I could use that, and I've pulled it out and used it to do something else, and yeah, now I don't have it. But like I said, I've got that thing upstairs. I should be able to make it again. I basically think what you had to do was, you need something to sandwich in between here, like in between here, because you can't let that squish, because otherwise it'll jam up. So you need to make something to slide in there, and then basically just put a washer on the back of that bush and pull it out. So I think I'll be able to use some stuff that I've got up there, like I've got a push-pull kit like with all thread and nuts and stuff. It's just making up a bit of tube that'll slide in between the diff to actually, sandwich that thing so it doesn't squish itself. But anyway, I'll bring some stuff down and we'll get into it. We've done the bushes in the back of the VL, and that's as much as we can do for now. So I'm going to grab the budget build from next door and then try and get some stuff done on that. I was going to put the camera outside so I can film myself bringing it out and in, but it keeps raining outside, so you're just going to have to stay in here. Anyway, let's get into it.
The swiftly passing moment is something which inside. 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 The swiftly passing
Alright, so I've just been fixing up the stuff for the roadworthy list on the VE, and I've been thinking about this a lot, but I think for the next couple months I'm just going to put all my projects on the back burner. I want to spend a bit of money setting up my shop at home, like toolbox, setting up man cave, this, that, and I've also committed to buy a few more cars. So for the next probably 2, maybe even 3 months, for the next 2 to probably 3 months, money's going to be pretty tight for me. So I think to have all my cars sitting around here, like I said, paying thousands of dollars a month to store them next door to do nothing, doesn't make sense. So I'm basically going to retreat, put up the white flag, put all my cars back at home where I can still tinker on them anyway. But keep the workshop for work so that way we can keep churning out the work, and take all my cars home. So I've got the VE. I decided I've got some springs over here that I bought off a bloke. Didn't tell me that one of the rear struts was bent, so I thought I had clean struts to throw straight in. But I've got to swap at least one of the struts over for the rear because one's bent, and then we'll throw the springs in the car. I'm going to slap my 22s on it that have been sitting in the office for 2 months, and then make this thing look tough, because at least if it's going to be sitting in the shed at home, it's going to look sick. So it'll be on 22s slammed, Eventually I'm probably going to put coilovers in this, but I figure while we're going through roadworthy, it's probably easier to have the springs in there, because then all I've got to do is probably raise the rear a little bit. Yeah, so then that's ready to go. The VL, once this is done, I might push the VL out and bring it in here, depending on how we're going for time, and just spray the boot floor with something. I think I've got some paint upstairs that basically it's like a clear, like a sealer or something, just for the boot floor, because I've started to bare metal that, just so it doesn't get any more rusty, because then that's going to go home along with this VE tomorrow. And then I've only got the other VESS wagon in the shed, which I've sent the guy that I got that off a message asking if I could buy the complete car with the engine, because the agreement was that I was going to buy the car minus the motor. He got that back. But I'm going to see if I can buy that complete car, and if I can, I'll send that one home too. If I can't, well, I'll bring that in here. We'll pull the motor out of that and then send the rest of the car home. And then that way that's everything all tidied up, and then we're ready to just keep plodding on with projects, because I'm booked out for the next 5 weeks, got plenty of work on. But yeah, I've just... if it's fine if I work 30 hours roughly in construction a week, and I was doing 40 hours here on the tools and then trying to edit and stuff on top of that, and I was making really good money, but it was killing my body. So at the moment I'm trying to do 30 and roughly 20-ish hours on the tools here, and then the rest of the time's editing and stuff like that. So it has reduced my income, and I know I've just been thinking about that, going, well, if you reduce your income, you got to reduce your spending. So that's the easiest way I could figure that out. But anyway, I thought rather than bring a stock car home, let's slam this bad boy, slap it on some 22s, and then at least when it's sitting at home, it looks cool as. Anyway, let's get into it. Well, I thought we were ready for the big reveal, but unfortunately, thought we're ready for the big reveal, but unfortunately the front is sitting way too high. So I'm going to pull the front struts out and change the springs over, and then I'll compare them to what I've got. I've got this triple SL sitting over there. I might just throw them straight in, but I don't want it to be sitting too low in the front. So yeah, it's got triples in the back at the moment, and yeah, I just want the front just a bit lower. I don't want it super low, because having 22s on the front, if you're way too low, it's just going to scrub flat out. So, which is going to make a huge difference when it's just sitting in my shed. But anyway, let's pull this suspension that I just put in back out. The joys. Alrighty, so we're back. I ran out of daylight last night to show you the VE. It's pretty much done. I'm hoping that I'm fixing that seal on the transmission fixed all the oil leaks, because I don't like oil leaks. But if not, when I get it back home, I'm going to just have to put a drip tray underneath it. But yeah, this is going today, and the VL is going today. So we've got a bit going on. And then we've also got this VF that come in last night, putting 22s on it and adjusting the coilovers down. So yeah, it's pretty nasty outside, so I thought I'd film an intro before I started. But yeah, we're going to put this on the hoist, adjust the coilovers, put our wheels back on. Hopefully by that time, we've got a bit of sunlight. I can get the VE outside, show you that. But anyway, let's get into it. Alright, so we've been out at the shop this morning. I was working at the shop yesterday and then ended up coming back. It was freezing and raining, and I had a job get cancelled. So I ended up just coming back here and plodding away, fixing up some timbers and stuff that needs some maintenance, and putting some extra brackets. I was watching this in heavy wind the other day, and this actually works really well. I built these frames just out of shit I had laying around, and it's been up like that for a couple of years now. But I noticed that in a heavy wind that this pulls up and down, which is exactly what I thought it would do and how I sort of designed it all. But I've just put another couple of brackets in the middles just to help those lock together, just to give it a bit more stability when it's going up and down. Doesn't move much, but you can see it, especially if I have that door open. I've noticed that if it's real windy, I need to have that passenger door out to outside shut, because it lets the wind come in the shed and then pushes the roof up. If all the doors are shut, the shed actually doesn't move too much. Yeah, and then I've got brackets to go on, because it's an old shed, you know, none of it's like tied down, so I've got triple plates to go on all of the timbers touching the top plate. And then I also, while we're in here doing some stuff, I just went out to the shop then this morning and picked up some timbers so we can start framing out all this, because I want to put some insulation in the roof here. And I could screw the timbers directly. I'm just going to use fence palings again in here because I've got them. I could screw them straight to that, but then I realised there's not going to be an air gap that allows for condensation because it's not papered, obviously. So what I'm going to do is build a frame just below that again, and then I'll be able to put some insulation in there, but still have a gap between the insulation and the roof, which will let on the tops of this roof here. I've left that open, both ends. So that'll actually just let some wind go through there and dry out any condensation that gets on top of the roof, because at the moment I wouldn't really trust leaving my laptop or anything in there, because not that it gets any wet, there's no leaks in there actually. The great thing about it's just been pissing down rain for a couple of days, and I've got a few little leaks. We had a hailstorm a while back and it's put some splits in the roof, so I've got to get up there and seal those up, but other than that, like, it's actually pretty good. Yeah, so anyway, got some materials. I'll unload the ute now. It's out in the rain, but I'm going to bring the timber and chuck it here on the ground, and then from there we'll start getting into some building. Yeah, I thought I'd bring the camera along and capture a few clips of what I'm doing, and yeah, anyway, let's get into it. Well, I didn't get as much done this weekend as I was hoping to get done, but unfortunately it pissed rain all weekend, which was quite nice to be in the shed while it was raining. Downside was I found all of the defects of the shed and spent probably nearly a full day of time just fixing broken bits of timber that were about to break and a few roof leaks, and I've still got other roof leaks I couldn't get to, obviously, because I couldn't get on the roof. But yeah, just going through all that. But yeah, I did work on the man cave a fair bit. I've just been doing odds and ends around the shop, preventive maintenance stuff, and I've made an absolute mess. I've been dragging mud in and out of here, so I've just spent probably the last hour just sweeping and mopping and sweeping and mopping, and then I've just packed up all my tools, and now I'm just going to mop myself out of the shed, and then that's me. So yeah, anyway, appreciate you guys watching the video. Yeah, we've got a pretty jam-packed weekend coming up next weekend, so the next vlog is going to be pretty cool. Hopefully I can spend a little bit of time here, because I'd like to run out of palings to do the roof in the man cave, so I've got to get some more. They've got still got some old bits of fencing that I just need to pull apart, then I can finish off that. So hopefully I can get to that next weekend, but yeah, it's going to be a pretty jam-packed weekend at the shop. Don't forget to become a member of the channel, drop a comment, all the things, and until then, I'll see you on the next one.